What's going on, beautiful people? It's your boy Warren watches wrestling, back at you with another video. And today we'll be reviewing and recapping this episode of Friday Night SmackDown, which I thought was another great episode of WWE television and another great episode of SmackDown. I'll tell you, man, SmackDown's been cooking ever since SummerSlam. I mean, obviously, you had the return of Kevin Owens and Randy Orton. That's very important. You brought some more order to MFT. You brought in some new women wrestlers. So SmackDown has definitely been on the high swing of things. And we're going to hop right into this episode, review everything, talk about the show, talk about what we like, what we didn't like, where we see things going moving forward. And let's jump right into it. For starters, like just to show this show off in the brief review for it, we looked like we had a pretty packed show from the start. I mean, we had a tag championship match coming up, which was kind of just pre-announced before the show. We had Blake Monroe's debut. We had a Cody Randy segment. We had Kevin Owens and CM Punk facing each other for the world title in the main event. So overall, it was a show I was looking forward to from the rip, and they did deliver. We started the show off with Sami Zayn, of course, playing that character he's been playing. He needs justice for Sami. Granted, everything he is saying does kind of make sense. He has been screwed over. You know, he was supposed to get another number one contendership match, got screwed over again because Randy Orton had to interfere. And of course, he's talking about Randy Orton saying, "Why is he in my business?" And one of those, "Oh, he's right behind you" type of moments as Randy's standing right there behind him. So Randy's behind him. He comes in. Sami kind of talks to Randy. Randy's kind of talking trash to Sami. And then you just hear Cody talking. Of course, a TV being right there. Cody's on the TV calling out Randy, telling him to come out to the ring. He kind of like pats Sami Zayn saying, "Yeah, we'll resume this later." So he walks out to the ring and cuts a Randy Orton promo, a great promo. I'm telling you, when Randy Orton gets the veins popping in his head and he starts talking with the intensity that Randy Orton can talk with, man, he delivers these promos so well. Like I said last episode, they're already having a better feud than they had for WrestleMania. Continue to do this. And Randy Orton was calling out Cody Rhodes, talking about everything and saying how they didn't finish what happened last week. And Cody's like, why don't we just fight right here, right now? And then Nick Aldis kind of stepped in and said, he's not doing this. We're not having this anymore. And that now, if either one of them lay a hand on each other, they will never be allowed to go after the world champion ever again. I am actually a fan of this. I like this. So this way we can actually get promos. We can get trash talk without everything just turning into a brawl. I think the brawl scene is way overdone. It's way overdid. I'm more of a promo fan myself. I'd rather see people cut great promos against each other, which this was exactly that. And then as Randy's walking away, he goes, "And we're talking about you didn't get a finish last week." He goes, "You had my head against the steps. You're not that kind of person. You're a good guy. You're not able to pull that trigger. You're not able to do that against me," kind of calling out Cody for always being the babyface, not taking like the cheap way or the dirty way out. So Randy explains that to him, kind of calls him out for all that. Cody has a great rebuttal and kind of says, "I can pull that trigger on you. I can reach these levels. I can do everything you say I can't do." And then he ends his promo saying, "And that's not a prediction, that's a spoiler." Now, if I'm not mistaken, that is a line that Paul Heyman uses a lot. So maybe, just maybe, we are going to see this turn happen. If you're Cody, I mean, it has to be annoying to be this babyface and get booed because you're going against guys that everyone is in love with. This whole segment, Randy was talking about pinning Cody and beating him up in front of his family and his kids, and the crowd's cheering him on. I mean, that has to hurt your soul, the adrenaline in your soul, quite a little bit because you're supposed to be the good guy. And they're cheering the bad guy talking about beating you in front of your family. So Randy was super over here, which is perfectly fine because he's Randy freaking Orton. He's going to be over no matter what he does anymore, no matter who he feuds against. But a great way to start the show, great opening segment. And then we had the tag title match. We had MFT kind of come out and cutting a quick little backstage promo, talking about how they're about to be dominant and run the division. Time for the match. The match itself was okay, it was a solid match overall. MFT did end up winning in the end. There was a slight moment where, R-Truth had a roll up and it looked like he was about to get the win, but no, that's not the case. Then they hit the Red Cross, I believe is what they're calling it, is the finisher that they have where it's just Tonga hitting the boot or Tala Tonga hitting the boot, Tama Tonga doing like the low swipe, and they won this title, which was to be expected. Now, after the match, this is where I was expecting the Damian Priest heel turn. I've been kind of predicting this for some time now. I see this being the move for them, and now they really start to tease it because Damian Priest is sitting there looking very disappointed, and all signs are looking like he's going to turn heel on R-Truth, but he does just pick him up. They do hug. I just see this ending with Damian Priest turning heel again. I mean, look at your main event scene. It's all baby faces. You need a couple heels in there. Right now you have your CM Punk, your Cody Rhodes, your Randy Orton, your Kevin Owens, your Finn Balor's. You have a bunch of baby faces. And I'm not saying Damian Priest is on that level. I'm not. But him having a feud against a CM Punk or someone like that would be a fun little one-off feud for Damian Priest to do for like a B show, B tier pay-per-view. I would be perfectly okay with that. But I do see his turn happening relatively soon. Then we cut backstage to CM Punk on a promo, and Randy Orton comes on the screen, once again setting him up for a future feud maybe down the line here, as Randy Orton tells CM Punk, like, hey, if you win tonight, just know I'll be coming for you after I handle and beat Cody's ass at Sunday night's main event. I like the little tease here. I wouldn't mind seeing them run this. I don't think they ran this since CM Punk's been back, so I would definitely not mind seeing this feud again. And then we got to introduce the whole entire women's division within the next 5 minutes or so. So we did have Tiffany and Chelsea come out together. Chelsea wants to thank Tiffany for having her back. And then they walk by Paige. And Paige's like, oh, hey, like Tiffany, or hey, Chelsea, I really do, feel motivated by what you said. I lost the most important thing to me due to injury. And I think that, you were standing up for yourself and I'm rooting for you type of deal. And then Fatal Influence does come in. They cut their normal, heel type promo saying that they're going to take all the gold from them. And then Tiffany did say a line that just did not hit. She goes, you guys are going to go back to being irrelevant like you were when you got here. Tiffany, do I have to explain to you that Fatal Influence's debut was over as all hell? They were getting the most heat I think I've ever seen an NXT call-up get. They were getting booed out of the building, and people were behind Fatal Influence because they were getting booed correctly in the right way. Not cheap heat, legitimate heat they were getting, what you do not see from NXT call-ups. Anyway, moving on from that. But Paige did call out JC Jane saying she's going to take her title from her. So I guess we are setting up for JC Jane going after Paige because I'm assuming we're just going to keep the Bellas off TV until they are both healthy and can be a team together. If Nikki does come back, I guess she can screw Paige out of that match so JC can pick up a dirty win as a champion and get an actual title defense, and then we can move on with that feud with Paige and Nikki Bella moving forward. And obviously with Chelsea and Tiffany going on here, I do see them feuding down the line and eventually Tiffany probably taking that title from Chelsea. Then we were introduced to Blake Monroe again. Blake Monroe was backstage getting ready for her match, talking about what outfit she's going to wear because she was about to go out and face Julia. So we thought. Instead, during Julia's entrance, Blake attacks her and absolutely just demolishes her, takes her out, just beats her up, hits her finisher in the ring. I cannot think of what the finisher name is. It's not coming to me right now. But she hits her finisher, and then she kind of walks out of the ring saying, I'm not going to waste my time with like Julia. I'm not going to waste my time in these, BS matches because my first match should be for the women's championship. That's what she said backstage, so I guess that's what she's going with, is she wants her first match to be for a title, not just against Julia. Did this make Blake look good? I mean, not really, in my personal opinion. Like, did she look strong? Sure, she took out Julia, but I think it would have been better off if we actually just let her have a match because now she's been on the main roster for how long, and she still has yet to cut an actual promo, has yet to have an in-ring match, and I'm glad that she was featured, but like, we have to start doing actual stuff with her. Let her have a match. If this is her story moving forward, sure, that's fine. Have her beat up people because she wants a championship match. That's fine. If we are going to continue with that, let's do that. But if we're going to run back her versus Julia next week, then this was absolutely pointless. For Julia, I'm sorry. I think your time in WWE is going to be coming to an end soon. I'm not the biggest Julia fan, but I'm not a Julia hater at all. I think the way she's booked is absolutely terrible. She could be used a lot better, but the way she has been being booked, got squashed by Lash Legend, and now she just got squashed by Blake Monroe. I see Julia taking the same path as Ilya Dragunov, leaving the WWE, and honestly, it probably would be the best move for her to go actually be a star somewhere else and not just be a pin machine over here in WWE. So this segment was, it was okay. You can keep it, you can leave. I mean, did it make Blake look good? I guess, but I think the damage did to Julia was actually kind of a lot. And then we had the rest of our women's division coming in. We had Charlotte and Bliss were kind of together, talking about how they're going to go out for birthday mimosas together. It's just them two, but it's not just them two because Tatum came in, being the Tatum character that she is, asking who Bloody Mary is, if she needs to go get Mary's blood or what she has to do to be involved in this little get-together. And then we had, Bleach Eyebrow Jade come in the screen with the baddies. And we set up a match next week for Tatum's debut, which I do like. So we're going to have Tatum taking on Meechin, which will probably be a good match, a good introduction for Tatum as well. And I'm assuming we're going to set this up eventually to be a 6-woman tag match with everyone going at it, even though we've already ran this multiple times with Charlotte and Bliss taking on Jade and the baddies. So I don't know how much longer we can do this for. But we are going to have this 6-man tag eventually. But next week, Tatum's taking on Meechin, and Tatum should absolutely pick up that win. And she probably will cook and show people that don't know her that she can absolutely go in the ring. Then it was time for the Trick segment. Trick came out, cut a very simple promo, called out Baron Corbin. Baron Corbin came out. And, he's not the greatest one, Mike, but he cut an okay promo, I guess, against Trick Williams, kind of telling him, why would I give you a rematch? I beat you twice in the middle of this ring. What have you done to deserve a rematch? Which is very true. Very true statement. So he wants to face him at Sunday Night Main Event. But instead, Baron Corbin says he wants 5 minutes in heaven with a Little Yachty. So he calls out Little Yachty. He wants to face him at Sunday Night's Main Event. And if Little Yachty can survive 5 minutes with Baron Corbin, then Trick Williams will get his rematch. I don't know if this rematch is going to take place at Sunday Night Main Event, or if Little Yachty wins, it'll be later on down the line. But eventually we're going to have Little Yachty making his in-ring debut versus Baron Corbin. Now, am I intrigued? I'm not going to lie. Yes. I think Little Yachty does actually love the business, does love WWE, so I'm assuming he probably has been training, has been working on at least the bare minimum to be able to go in the ring. Is Baron someone that can carry a celebrity through a match? Probably not, but is probably a very slow-paced match with a couple spots here and there, and I'm assuming Baron will squash him, not allowing Trick to get his rematch, and hopefully that would be a way for Trick to move on and go on and do bigger and better things. That's what I would hope. But most likely there's going to be a way for Lil Yachty to make it past the 5 minutes so Trick can get his rematch. But I am very intrigued to see what Little Yachty is like in the ring. It is kind of like I said, he's been a fan, so I'm assuming he's been training. So I don't think he's going to be terrible. I'm curious what his in-ring gear is going to be. So I actually am. I hate to be the problem with celebrities in WWE, but I am kind of excited to see what Little Yachty will do in the ring. And then Kevin Owens was cutting a promo backstage, and Finn Balor kind of comes along and starts talking to Kevin Owens, saying the same thing Randy said, except for now we have, two baby faces that respect each other. Finn telling Kevin Owens, hey, if you win, just know I'll be coming for you. And, of course, we have Gunther coming in the screen. Look at look at Finn's face. He just looks pissed off about it. But he kind of comes in and tells Kevin Owens, he's nothing. He's rooting for him to win. There's a lot of pressure on him in his hometown. He knows what that pressure's like. And then he's pretty much saying Finn is a shadow of himself. He has nothing to worry about with Finn. He doesn't really have to even sweat him. He's not even on his mind anymore. So we are confirming that feud with Finn and Gunther once again. I am looking forward to that match. When they're going to run it, I'm not sure, because especially SmackDown being 2 hours, this show felt like it fit a lot in. And I don't know where you can fit in a Finn Balor or Gunther segment, because I don't want them to rush that segment. I want that to actually be a good, solid feud between them. I wouldn't be mad if that went like 3 matches and they both got to win. Once again, I don't see them doing that because Gunther has this whole undefeated and non-title single matches going on. But I do want to see him and Finn actually get their solid feud with each other. And I would not be mad if they actually traded matches and Finn gave Gunther his first singles loss, not in a non-title match. And we had this match. It was okay. It was fine. I'm glad that we involved women's wrestling. It's a good win for Lash, honestly. She got to pin Tiffany Stratton, a former world champion, U.S. champion. She got to pick up that win over Tiffany. Tiffany, I don't know what's going on with her right now. She's just continuing to lose. She was on Neon's stream, and Neon is a loser himself, so I guess everyone on his stream is going to take losses. But Lash picked up the win, which I do think, like I said, is good for Lash. And then, of course, you can imagine what happens after. We have the post-match beatdown. Chelsea comes out to make the save. She brings a kendo stick. She takes out the irresistible forces. So we are definitely setting up for probably Tiffy and Chelsea taking on the irresistible forces whenever Chelsea does get healthy, which she does look like she is improving. So hopefully, I'm glad they're keeping her on screen. Shout out to Chelsea. A lot of people, when they get injured, they don't show up to work. They don't go on TV. Chelsea is still showing up every single week, making run-ins, actually making physical contact with people, even though she is actually injured. So it is nice to have our champion be injured, but still be an on-screen character. So she makes the save for Tiffy. And like I said, probably once Chelsea gets healthy, we'll do that little tag match between the two and then set up. I believe we are still setting up towards Nia versus Chelsea for her first title defense. And then she'll probably lose to Tiffany down the line. And then we get word on who Shinsuke Nakamura's partner is going to be Kaioki. And now I'm not afraid to admit that I don't watch New Japan Wrestling. I'm just going to be completely honest with you. I did post something on my TikTok where someone did comment to me about who Yoki is. And he was telling me that's a Hiromu Takashi, and like I said, I'm not too sure about who he is. I'm going to go watch. Someone sent me a match to watch. I'm probably going to actually watch that match just to learn a little bit more about him. But he's Shinsuke's partner, and with all due respect to Kaioki, but disrespect to WWE, it's just people that they won't push. Like, they are very, very scared to push these New Japan wrestlers that come in that can't cut an English promo. We've seen them actually push Shinsuke and then get cold feet about it, and then have him kind of go back down the card and not be able to be that main eventer like he was when he first got called up. So, it always is kind of iffy with these New Japan wrestlers, but hopefully they actually let him go. I've heard that he can absolutely go in the ring, so it should be a good match. Do I see him and Shinsuke winning the tag titles? Honestly, no, I don't. I don't see them winning the tag titles. I think they're going to keep it on MFT. I think they're going to have MFT continue to be dominant champions. But this is the reveal for who Shinsuke's partner is. And now it's time for the main event. CM Punk taking on Kevin Owens. And I just like the fact that this match exists. The fact that we went into this match too with like 30 minutes left on the show was great. I'm like, oh, they're going to give these guys time to actually cook up a great match. They're going to give them time to work each other and get the crowd into it. During the entrances, I was kind of excited to see if this crowd would actually boo CM Punk, because they were in Toronto, I believe, which is Kevin Owens' hometown. So he's back home, and he's such an over babyface after making his return. But CM Punk is CM Punk at the end of the day. He usually never gets booed no matter where he goes. So for his entrance, it wasn't as big as a pop as usual, but they still were singing his song. He still kind of was getting cheered, soaking that all in. But then when we did the pre-match introductions, Kevin Owens was getting cheered, and when they announced Punk, all boos. He was absolutely getting booed once they announced him. So I guess the crowd just wanted to sing, Cult of Personality, but they didn't actually want to cheer Punk. So once they did introduction, Punk got booed, which I thought was a nice little touch to the match, because now we actually do have a heel Punk. Heel in the sense of just this match. He's not a heel moving forward, but he was definitely working like a heel throughout this match, attacking KO's neck, soaking in with the crowd, talking trash to the crowd the whole time, and Kevin Owens was the, rowdy babyface. Now, Kevin Owens came out hot. He came out very explosive, very hard-hitting. It looked like some of the shots were stiff, but I think that's what they were going for. Like I said, the crowd took this match to the next level because they were so into it. We had a spot where Kevin Owens kind of goes up on the barricade, jumps off, and puts CM Punk through the table. And then, of course, later in the match, we have the expected ref bump happen. Now, when this ref bump happened, I'm like, all right, where's Sammy? When are we going to get that spot to come up? And we get the good old-fashioned spot where Kevin Owens hits the stunner, pins Punk. This is where, you lose me. I'll explain it later. He pins Punk for a good, 7-8 seconds. And then he kind of rolls around, looks at the ref like, oh, man, the ref's not up. But then we kind of hit a swerve here where Punk hits the GTS and pins Kevin Owens for about 10 seconds with no ref as well. I'm like, oh, so we played the card. So either way, they both have a reason to call for a rematch because they both actually picked up a pin. Because Kevin Owens pinned him with no ref, but Punk also pinned Owens with no ref. So we could definitely run it back because both ways are unfair. So this did open up the door for Kevin Owens to get the win because Punk has full, evidence that he could have won as well. And then we do get, Punk going out the ring to get the ref up. He goes out and we get Sami Zayn interference. I think we were all kind of expecting Sami Zayn to interfere. He throws Punk into the post, rolls Punk in the ring. Kevin Owens hits him with a stunner. And, we throw the ref back in. And this was 2.9999999 repeating because I honestly thought this was it. And I had all expectation for Sami to turn heel and for Owens to lose this match because of Sami. But this moment right here got me because I'm like, oh, Punk already picked up the win with the ref down. And now Sami actually interfered without Kevin Owens seeing was a key part here. Owens didn't see Sami Zayn attack Punk or throw the ref in the ring. So they were playing it off that type of way. I was like, oh, he's going to win this title right here. But no, Punk kicks out at the absolute last second. And then we get the moment where he's down. And Kevin Owens is kind of like, what just happened? Like, damn. And the ref is still not fully in it, I guess. So Sami throws a title in the ring. And Kevin Owens was looking at the title like, should I use this? Should I not use this? But Kevin Owens, being a babyface, he kind of hands the title back to Sami, saying, no, I'm not going to win in this way. Like, I want to win it myself. I want to win clean. So Sammy clocks him in the face with the title, falls back, gets hit with a GTS, goes to sleep, ref counts to 3, and that is the ending of your main event match, as CM Punk does retain with the help of Sami Zayn. Now, yes, going into this match, I did expect Sami Zayn to cost Kevin Owens it, because I kind of set it up with the feud a couple weeks back where he told Sami Zayn, I don't want your help, and all that stuff. Like, you kind of assumed this was going to happen, and this could extra turn Sami Zayn like super heel to solidify him as a heel, because, you know, he turned on KO in KO's hometown when they're supposed to be like close and brothers, and, you know, Sami also being Canadian, kind of giving Punk the win here. So I thought that was like a good twist. Like I said, the kick out was the 2.9 kick out did get me. I actually thought that was it. And it's been a while since WWE got me that well, but that absolutely did rock. So, and then post match, we did have Sami Zayn take out CM Punk, and then Kevin Owens comes in the ring. I'm not sure why Owens came back in the ring. So Sami Zayn clocks him again with the title. And as Punk is on his knees trying to get back up, Sami Zayn knocks Punk out again. And then to end the show, Sami Zayn is the one standing tall, being this heel character. So I don't know if we're going to set up for a triple threat match would be my best bet of what they're going to do next. Maybe Sami Zayn in my Money in the Bank video. I do have Sami Zayn as being one of the favorites because I could see them giving him the Money in the Bank with the way his character is right now, find a way to cheat to win. But overall, I did think this main event was a fun time, a great time, a lot of good moments in it. The match, the physicality itself was good. There was definitely some slow points of the match where Punk was just working the neck. We had a couple good submission moves, but the match itself was pretty fun. Great match. And then the swerve at the end, Sammy going both ways, but then ending up the way that we thought it would end up, with him actually turning on KO and turning on Punk too to solidify himself as a full heel because he took out both baby faces, was a great ending to the show. And I thought it was a great ending to what was an overall terrific show from beginning to end. Like I said, I think the show had a lot in it. There was a little too much recaps, and the commercials are long, but for an overall, for like the 2 hour shows that they've been cooking recently, they've all hit home, and you still have people on your roster that you can definitely use if you really wanted to. So I think SmackDown, whoever's in that writing room, they are cooking right now, and it's actually a show that is worth watching and worth spending 2 hours to watch, because like I said, most of the segments, maybe the Lash and Tiffany segment was kind of stupid. The Blake Monroe segment was kind of, So honestly, the women's segments were not the best, but whoever's booking the men's division is absolutely knocking out of the park right now, because everything they're doing is pretty like intriguing and very fun. Even like I said, the Baron and Trick match is something I wasn't looking forward to, but the fact he's facing Yachty, nice twist, and like that's something now that I'm actually looking forward to. Randy and Cody, I do not want to see them brawl, so the fact they made that little stipulation makes that exciting. We all knew Kevin Owens wasn't going to lose clean, so we can obviously run KO and Punk again later down the line, which I would love to see, because their promos back and forth and the chemistry that they have, whether they actually hate each other or not, they have great chemistry. So what I think was a terrific episode of SmackDown, I would definitely say you should tune in to watch it this week. A lot of good moments, and just a couple moments that could have been improved with, I think, honestly, more time. But those are my reviews, my thoughts of the show, breaking it all down for you. Let me know what y'all think in the comments down below. Drop a like, drop a comment, drop a subscribe. We're up to 31 subscribers, so thank y'all for that. But we gotta get the likes in the comments up a little bit. Let's get some engagement going on so I can start having conversation with people. Without further ado, it's been your boy Warren watching wrestling. Y'all stay beautiful, world.